This is the news that many powerful people in Abuja and the dark forests of the north have been dreading. For years, we have asked the same question over and over again. Who is sponsoring these bandits? Who is buying the anti-aircraft guns? Who is funding the terror that has turned our middle belt and northern regions into killing fields? Well, the United States of America has just blown the lid off the entire operation, and the details are messier than we ever imagined. The headline you saw is not just a rumor. It is based on a groundbreaking legislative move happening right now in the US Congress, involving the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026. The Americans have finally connected the dots, and they are pointing a shaking finger directly at a deadly alliance between illegal Chinese miners and Fulani Militias. We are talking about a massive revelation that could change the security landscape of Nigeria forever. Two prominent U.S. congressmen, Representative Riley Moore from West Virginia and Representative Chris Smith from New Jersey, have co-sponsored this explosive bill. They are not just talking, they are taking action to cut off the money supply that feeds terrorism in Nigeria. The core of their finding is something that security analysts have whispered about for a long time, but now it is official U.S. policy talk. Illegal mining is the fuel for this fire. The bill explicitly states that Chinese illegal mining operations are paying what they call protection money to Fulani militias. Just let that sink in for a moment. Foreign nationals are entering our bush, digging up our gold and lithium, and instead of paying taxes to the Nigerian government to build schools and hospitals, they are paying millions to armed militias to protect their theft. This money is what the bandits use to buy the heavy weaponry that terrorizes our villages. This news is shaking the tables because it moves the conversation from herder-farmer clashes to organized international crime and terror financing. The US lawmakers have identified these mining operations as a primary revenue source for violent extremism. It is a business transaction. The miners get the minerals, the militias get the cash, and the Nigerian people get the bullets. But the United States is saying enough is enough. This new bill is designed to shatter this unholy alliance. It directs the Secretary of State to officially determine whether these Fulani militias should be designated as foreign terrorist organizations under US law. This is a game changer. If they are designated as FTOs, it means anyone supporting them, whether a local politician, a foreign miner, or a logistics supplier, automatically becomes an enemy of the United States. It opens the door for the US to use its vast resources to hunt down the financial networks supporting these groups. Before we dive deeper into the specific punishments awaiting these sponsors, I need you to do something very important for me. If you want to keep seeing the truth that the mainstream media might be too scared to tell you, please go ahead and smash that like button right now. It helps us push this video to more Nigerians who need to wake up to what is happening. And if you are new here, do not leave without hitting the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell. We are tracking this bill closely, and you need to know when the sanctions start landing. Thank you for your support. Now let's look at the consequences for the sponsors. The most terrifying part of this bill for the corrupt elite is the section on accountability. The prompt mentions that the US is revealing names of terror sponsors. While the public list is being compiled as part of this investigation, the bill proposes strict targeted measures. We are talking about visa bans and asset freezes. This means that the individuals, whether they are Nigerian politicians, traditional rulers, or business moguls, will be banned from entering the United States. But it hits harder than just travel. It hits their pockets. Their assets in the US will be frozen. You know how much our elites love to stash their wealth abroad. The US is threatening to seize it all if they are linked to this funding of extremism. The bill, according to the announcement made on Tuesday by Rep. Riley Moore via X, specifically targets domestic or foreign networks providing support to these militias. This includes the Chinese nationals involved. The United States is effectively telling the Nigerian government, if you won't stop the Chinese exploitation that funds terror, we will. The legislation urges the Secretary of State to work with the Nigerian government to counteract this hostile foreign exploitation. It is a direct challenge to the sovereignty of our mining sector, but many would argue it's a necessary one, since our internal mechanisms have failed to stop the bleeding. The bill describes the practice of paying protection money as destabilizing, which is a diplomatic way of saying it is destroying the country. We also have to talk about the victims. For the first time in a long while, a major international bill is focusing specifically on the Middle Belt. The violence in Plateau, Benue, and Southern Kaduna has often been ignored or mislabeled, but this act calls for the delivery of humanitarian aid directly to these regions through trusted faith-based and non-governmental organizations. This suggests that the US does not trust the usual government channels to deliver aid, likely fearing that the money would be stolen or diverted. They want to work with the churches, the mosques, and the local NGOs that are actually on the ground helping the displaced people. It's a vote of no confidence in the official handling of the humanitarian crisis. Furthermore, the bill pushes for comprehensive counter-terrorism cooperation to rid the region of these threats. It suggests disarmament programs. We all know that disarmament has been a tricky issue in Nigeria. We have seen amnesty programs where bandits surrender rusty guns and keep the new ones. But with US technical support and oversight, as proposed in this bill, the game might change. The US is looking at this as a threat to the American homeland as well. When you have unregulated territory where foreign actors like the Chinese miners and terrorists mix freely, it becomes a breeding ground for global terror. That's why the US is getting involved. It's not just charity, it's national security for them. The connection between mining and banditry has always been visible to those with eyes to see. Zamfara State, for instance, has been the epicenter of this. The no-fly zone declared years ago was an attempt to stop the helicopters that were allegedly flying in weapons and flying out gold. Now we have confirmation from the highest legislative body in the highest legislative body in the US that this is exactly what is happening, but with a specific focus on the Chinese element. The Chinese miners are paying the militias to keep the government forces away and to keep the locals suppressed. It's a symbiotic relationship of evil. As this bill moves through the US Congress in 2026, the panic in certain quarters in Abuja will be palpable. The foreign terrorist organization label is the ultimate stain. It means you cannot do business with any reputable bank in the world. It means your family cannot study abroad. It means you are a pariah. And for the sponsors mentioned in the headline, those shadowy figures who sit in air-conditioned offices while their foot soldiers slaughter villages, the days of hiding are numbered. The US intelligence community has a long reach, and if this bill passes, they will be mandated to use it. This development is a massive wake-up call. It validates the cries of the indigenous people of the Middle Belt and the Northwest who have screamed that this is an invasion funded by mineral theft. The narrative is shifting. It's no longer just about cows destroying crops. It's about gold, dollars, and power. The Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026 might just be the external shock needed to force the Nigerian system to act. We will be monitoring the progress of this bill day by day. We will be watching the reaction of the Nigerian government. Will they welcome this help or will they call it interference? And most importantly, we will be waiting for the specific names to be made public as the investigations proceed. The era of the unknown sponsor is coming to an end.